Maysoon, did you miss me?
Of course. Hey, Isaac.
What's up?
What's up?
Where's everybody else? Hey, Isaac.
Guys, come on, guys. What's up?
What's
So,
What's up?
up?
Oh man, how are you doing? How are you doing?
Excellent.
Amazing! Or excellent, yeah, excellent, yeah. It's excellent!
Amazing, amazing. So it's been a couple of hours since I last left you. I hope that all had gone well and that all is okay. So I really hope that the last couple of hours for you were, both inspirational, motivational, that you learned something, that you took something forward. Thank you to all of the fasties that have put in. Guys, once you start to facilitate a conference, you will understand all of the effort that gets put into this. So just to kind of, don't forget to give appreciation to your facilitators, to the guests that come in, to the people that like take the time. At the end of the day, they're doing this for you, right? All the effort is put in for you. If they create an amazing session and you're not there, then there's no point of the session. So just make sure that you send them a really random message, whether it's on the chat or if you get their numbers or on Instagram or whatever, and just thank them for their time and for their efforts. So what I would like to do is I would like to start off actually by asking you guys a question. So once again, I'd like you to have a pen and paper, please. All right, so get out a pen and paper. Preferably, like if you guys, which you should have been doing, taking notes through the whole day, then go to the end of your day, kind of like give it a nice title at the top, closing of day one or something like that. And I want you just to start jotting down the highlights, the most important things, the things that you learned. All right, so I'm going to give you just a couple of seconds for that. Open up a piece of paper, like I said, and just the first question for you is, what did I learn today?
Yep.
Great. So just while the screen gets shared and the presentation gets put up, can I have a couple of sharings? Like, what did you learn today and what did you enjoy most?
So hi, I'm Nathan. And so three things. It's trust, confidence, and motivation. That's what we got from these few hours. So yeah.
Amazing. Tell me a little bit more. Like what happened, like, okay, with trust, what happened with trust? How did you learn about it or how did it click with you? Did you have like an aha moment or like one of those moments where you're like, whoa, that's so true, right?
Actually, yeah,
Tell me.
it's on your presentation. Actually, when you told about the different friends, different culture you have been to, and the friends you have made. So that was a trust about. Yeah, that was that, and then came confidence. You started from at a very young age. That's like my age, and you gave me the confidence that even I can do more. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, motivation, yeah, of course, everybody, all the people who came here, all were pretty motivated, and the way they talk, the way they enjoyed themselves explaining about their different life experiences motivated us, me. So yeah,
Amazing. I'm
that's
so glad to hear that. That's wonderful. Anyone else? Who else would like to share?
I would like to share it, if you can hear me. Yeah.
Yeah, your name, please.
Yeah, my name is Amir Ali Khan.
And which LC are you from?
I'm from Dubai.
Okay.
Okay,
You
so
have to, sorry to cut you off. The reason why the reason why I'm asking you this is you need to get used to this so that when you go to like a global conference where there's so many entities there, the first thing you have to say is, for example, my name is Maysoon, representing ISEC in Kuwait, or MCP of ISEC in Kuwait, or whatever your position is, so that people know who are they speaking to, all right, or who's listening. So go for it.
okay. Yeah. Okay, so I feel that I learned one big thing, that you have to be courageous in life. You have to learn to take risks in life, and you should believe in yourself. I like that part in middle where I heard the speech of Morgan Freeman, where he talked about success and the steps to take courage and to believe in yourself. And that's where I found it really motivational, and I like that. So, yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Guys, make sure you keep this. You see that feeling you have? Lock it up, keep it with you. Make sure that it doesn't fade away with time. Thank you so much. Who else? One more sharing.
Okay, hi guys. Okay, I'm Ron, still from Dubai. One of the things which actually I've actually kept from, which I'll say I've actually kept from this session is where I actually think it was you, where you're actually saying, don't say you can do something until you try. And now with that, I'm actually looking at the number of things I actually wanted to do, but I never actually did them. So yeah. So actually that was actually quite, yes.
Amazing. Thank you. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. And make sure that you keep that through. I see that you've had, different sessions of today. You went through, other than the opening plenary. You guys had the fun team. How was the fun team?
Oh, it was good. It was amazing.
Yeah.
How was the fun team? Yeah.
Amazing. Yes.
How was the
Fun
fun
team's
team?
always fun. We always say in ISEC, we work hard and we play harder. So make sure that that's the case. So just out of curiosity, guys, can you see my screen clearly, or do you only see part of the screen? Can you see the presentation?
It's only part of the screen.
It's only part of the screen. All right, let's try to fix that. I'll try to fix that as we go along.
Part of the screen. Yeah.
All right, my next question for you guys is, and please write this down. What are some of the conversations that you started that you feel like you want to continue? And please make sure you write down the name of a person who you would like to contact again, or you would like to, make sure that okay, I started something, maybe I didn't have time, or one of the fasties had an amazing outlook, or I really learned something from this person. So please write down the person, the topic and the person you want to talk to. And I'm going to give you, right? And go ahead and send them a message. I'm going to give you about 1 minute. Make sure that you go ahead and you send them a message right now and just say, hey, want to talk to you after the conference. That's all you need to say. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to a minute for them.
I'm up for a call, guys. Don't worry. You can talk to me anytime.
So like I said, think about all of the conversations you had, all of the topics you talked about. I don't know if you guys had breakout rooms today or not, or if you were you had to talk to any
we
of
had.
You had? Yeah. So if you guys had interesting conversations and you want to continue that, make sure you write it down because you will forget. So say I want to talk to this person about this topic. Can you click next, please? Go to the next slide, next slide. Yeah, so what did you learn? What did you enjoy? We asked that next. Yeah, so just as soon as we finish off this, the next question for you is going to be, what do you want to take home? What do you want to use or implement after the conference? So what happens is that usually you're at this conference, you're getting so much information, you're learning so many things, but then at the end of the conference, you're like, oh wait, there was that thing I wanted to do. What was it? Or, oh, you had a really good idea, but you don't remember. So just make sure you have that one page where you're like, okay, I learned this, I want to implement it. For example, especially to the team leaders, if there's something you learned and you want to downscale it to your members, highlight it or just put it down there as well. I should have had music ready for you guys. All right, do you guys need more time? Are you ready? Can we move? Yep, you can go next. If there's anything you want to learn more about, so maybe you heard a little bit and like there was a specific session that you heard about, but you want more in depth, you want to ask more questions, you just want to read maybe more about it or something like that, also write down the topics. So I know that you guys talked about our culture, you talked about being a leader, you talked about membership experience or internships, right? So from any of these things, if you do have anything you want to learn more about, please note it down. And again, make sure you contact the right person. Or you want to continue a discussion, or you want to start this discussion with someone. Maybe you learned something and like, oh, I want to talk to my parents about this. I want to see what my dad thinks or what my friends from outside of ISEC think. Go next. Next again. So I'm reading something in the chat. Listening to your experience have helped me. Amazing. That's amazing. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to hear that. And look back at, remember in the beginning, during the opening plenary, I asked you to answer 3 questions. Make a list of questions that you want to answer before the conference ends, a list of people you want to talk to, and what do you want to do while you're here, during your journey, during your conference. So please take a minute to look back at that, all right, and just see, is there anything you got to cross off? Is any of the things that you wanted to do so far? Sometimes, by the way, when it says, what do you want to do? Maybe you're a shy person and you just want to speak up a little bit more. Maybe during the sharing, you want to unmute your mic, or you want to turn on your cam, or you want to, debate or something like that. That can go on your list. So take a look at that list and just say, what did I complete already? If there are things that you didn't get to complete, remember that you have a full day tomorrow. All right, to make sure that you complete that list and you start scratching things off the list. Next. All right. So for all ready to go, I actually have something not very usual that's done. All right. But as a chair, I've actually invited a special guest, all right, to help you guys give a different perspective, not just from inside ISEC, but I think some of the most important things is when you realize, yes, ISEC, we live in a bubble, we're in our own world, but how does this help me with the outside world? What things can I learn in ISEC so that when I'm exposed to it outside of ISEC, it's not the first time, right? When something happens, I'm like, oh, it's okay. I've done this in ISEC, or oh, okay, it happened in ISEC, it's fine. So how can this support you, and how can you compare life in ISEC outside of ISEC? So guys, this is very important because this is a very special guest. All right, so please make me proud. So I'd like you all to unmute your mics. All right, whether give it a drum roll or a clap, I'd like you to please welcome our special guest. Next. All right, he became an entrepreneur at a very young age. All right, surprising, you're gonna hear his story. He's managed 5 companies all at the same time. All right, he's worked 15 years of experience, of working experience, and he's worked both sides. He's been an entrepreneur and he's also been an employee, right? So if you guys here, even if you're just entering university, or if you're about to graduate, or if you're in the real world, it's fine. And he's a huge supporter and a mentor of ISEC in Kuwait, and he's a huge supporter of ISEC overall. All right, with all of his years of experience, he was so impressed to see what ISEC was doing, how it was teaching people to do young things at such a young age. And I remember he was telling me, I wish I could take what you guys are teaching 18-year-olds and you can teach it to the staff that I was working with in the past years. All right, so unmute your mic next. And please welcome Hany Woo!
What an introduction, Maysoon. Thank you
Hany, what's up?
Hello. So I would like to thank everyone, especially Maysoon, for inviting me.
You remember me, Hany?
Of course I know you. Of course I know you. So I would just like to give a special thanks to Maysoon for giving me that wonderful introduction and giving me the control. And obviously you can see that I'm still learning how to develop my presentation skills and communication skills in this new world. So hopefully I'll try and keep you entertained for the next time or for the next couple of minutes or so. So stay focused with me. If I do talk a bit fast or if I do need to move on, somebody is going to have to let me know. So if you're all ready, can I just see a thumbs up or a hey or some sort of okay? So I am
Yep.
good to go.
Already.
Hany, the stage is all yours. Go ahead,
Yeah.
buddy.
Yes. All right, guys. So those who know me have attached some sort of saying with me, which is real talk. And when I talk, I don't give you the basic Google answers that you look for. No, I give you through real life experiences. And those who know me know that I live by one quote. You only live once, but if you do it right, once is enough. And that was by Mae West, amazing actor. So like I said, guys, everything you're about to see or hear today is from personal experience, nothing from fancy Google words and stuff like that. Moving on. So this is my timeline. This is my history. This is who I am today. And this is how I will be or how I reached who I am today. Starting off at 1997. I was actually born in 1984, guys. So, but trying to make myself look a bit young and cool. I was my activity started in 1997, where I was a paper boy delivering newspapers. I saved my money, invested it in the stock exchange. A couple of years later, went into university at KU, where I was also working in the real estate market. That's where I was renting properties and basically trying to learn of the real working world whilst juggling university at the same time. Moving on, after I graduated, I worked in a printing press, an offset printing press, where I would basically specialize in digital security printings or security printings in general. So yes, guys, I know how to print money. If you want my email, you can have it at the end of the session, and I will teach you how to do that. Finally, I established my first baby, which is the Stasha Express. So basically, the Stasha Express is what made me who I am today as an entrepreneur. That was the first step that I took at a very young age. I think it was about 24 years old or so, where I established my first business and was operating it at the same time. Didn't see that as a challenge. So the next ones that you see, the Stasha Express, the printing press, Malawi Design, Kuwait Fairs, and Cine, and finally the Needle Factory, I was operating all these 5 businesses at the same time. The Needle Factory is a subsidiary under the Stasha. Cine is a lighting company. Kuwait Fairs is specialized in events. Okay, so what happened next?
We all know what dishtashes are, guys. Girls, guys, do we know what a dishtasha is? Anyone doesn't know what a dishtasha is? I don't know what you call it in the UAE.
Thobe, I think they call it thobe.
So the traditional menswear.
Yep.
Tandura. Tandura.
Not the hair.
Tandura. That's correct. Tandura. Okay, so basically what ended up happening, guys, is I took a break during this period of 3 years where I quit every single company that I owned. I quit the positions I was handling. I was the GM or basically a CEO of most of these companies, and I decided to take a break for 3 years. During those 3 years, they were the most depressing 3 years of my life. Yet they were the most challenging 3 years of my life at the same time. I was building myself, trying to conquer the time that's being wasted from somebody who was proactive and continuously had something to do and was handling 200 staff from different companies. I fell into a great depression and had plenty of time and I didn't know what to do with it. And I guess this is where I started to build myself in a different journey. This is where I became a normal employee at Cubicle Services. This is where I met Maysoon. This is where I got introduced to ISEC. During this time, I was also freelancing. And today I'm actually working in a company called ORP, which is basically off-road performance. Now, if I were to divide, one more thing, give you a little hint of a challenge that I had. I do own a world record as well. 2 to be more specific. 1 for being the biggest flag in the world, and the second for being the biggest painting in the world. And yes, I am proud of that. More stories, and if we have time in the end. Cool. So if I were to split my life into basically, oh, sorry, I don't know what's happening. Okay, so if I were to split my life into 3 journeys, guys, I would put the first part is my learning journey. Start my video. Guys, okay, perfect. So the first part is my learning journey. The second part was my entrepreneur journey. And the final part, or the one I'm living today, is my life journey. And each one has taught me a lesson, and each one has made me the person that I am today. So what I can say easily, guys, I've been in your shoes. And I've been in your shoes plenty of times. And for those who are new to Isaac, I know that you're facing a challenge every single day. We can't compare each other's challenges, but we can feel them because we're all in the same ship that today the pandemic has put us in. Now, what I do want you to do is imagine a life of an Isaac. So I've split it up into 4 very basic parts. However, it's much more complicated than that. Now imagine selling products, okay? GV, GTE, GTA. Congratulations, guys, on these new products, by the way. Whether they're IGV, OGV, IGTE, OGTE, IGTA, OGTA. By the way, guys, I am not rapping. I know this is a bit difficult for the newbies to understand because it took me a good 1 year to actually learn all of these abbreviations. And yes, there are plenty more, but they're fun to understand and fun to focus with. So, second part, presentations, such as these presentations that we're creating for you today. So they have you do presentations for newcomers, old members, companies, entities, you name it, guys. I've been doing presentations when I joined Isaac in my short period of time every single day, and I love them. Finally, sending people to travel. Basically, making sure that they're safe, that you're sending your members or you're sending your Maysoon, if you can help me out with this one, what do you call the people that you send outside?
Guys, what do you call people that travel?
Because I will say customers.
No, in Isaac, people that go on exchange, we call them something. Where's our
right.
Isaac? Exchange
Isaac is-
participants. So we call them EPs.
Amazing.
EPs are exchange participants. Those are people who basically youth who decide to go on exchange with Isaac. We call them exchange participants, or EPs in short.
Amazing. So, and what else do they do? A lot more. And I actually envy a life of an Isaacer because I know that they have entrepreneurship built inside them. Moving on. So with all of that, the organization basically depends on people traveling to it for about 100 or to 100 and so, or 100 plus countries, where imagine having no airports right now, where everything's been shut down, where lockdowns and curfews are continuously developing and happening at all around the world at different times. So for instance, in Kuwait, where we are actually under a curfew timing. With the pandemic continuously developing and enhancing itself and creating that economic crisis that everyone is facing, both you guys from all around the world, we are facing it just the same way, and most dangerously, people dying. So basically you have all of these odds today for someone who's trying to travel. Now, I'll ask you this. Would you send someone to travel today? Would you send possibly one of your family members? Would you send a friend? Or would you even send a stranger? Now, can you understand what kind of challenge Isaac is going through today and what they're doing about it, to be more specific? And let me ask you, during this situation, now if I look at Isaac like a business, would you give up? Would you just be like, you know what, nobody's going to be traveling for the next 1 or 2 years. They haven't been traveling for a year. Am I going to continue? Should I continue? Yes or no? The basic answer is going to be probably, yeah, I need to give up, find something new, maybe sell cookies in the streets. Maybe that's what people need and demand these days. Now, if I were to ask this question to an ISECer, Isaac, would you give up? You can say,
No.
yeah. Oh, wow.
No. No way.
Amazing. Amazing.
Never.
So, no, because
we're Isaacers.
yes, because you're an ISECer, you're patient, you're strong, you're tough, you're change makers. You lead by example. You don't give up when things get tough. Whilst you do all of that, and with all those challenges, you know how to have fun. You know how to show support to each other. You know how to network. You know all these shortcuts you've been built for this, guys. And you know why? What is the most important thing about you guys? Is resilient. You guys are impeccable when it comes to resilience. And that is the most important aspect of an ISECer. You're solution oriented. You face the challenges head on. Instead of complaining, you push for greater achievements, lifting the bar, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you. And I see that from ISECers in Kuwait and all around the world as well. So you are currently the leaders and you are our future leaders as well. So what is resilience? It's the ability to basically face any challenge and spring back immediately from something that's difficult for you to face at first. So basically, let me give you examples of resilience, and maybe it will clarify that definition for you by sharing my story with you today. So I want to see a raise of hands, guys. How many of you are excited to understand how resilient I've been in my last 15 years in this real world? No raise of hands, nothing. I'm gonna
There's
skip.
a lot of hands going up, but they're putting them up on Zoom.
Okay, I'll trust you, Maysoon, on that one. All right, guys. So get your popcorns ready because I'm about to be storytelling you for the next couple of minutes. All right. So Dishtasha Express. What is Dishtasha Express? It's a delivery service, a tailoring delivery service that comes to your house, takes your measurements, goes back to the workshop, tailors your Dishtasha and brings it back to you all within about 24 hours to 48 hours. A new concept that got introduced to Kuwait by myself and my partners. And yes, it was great at first, but we continuously faced issues. And one of the major issues that we did face was actually the seasonal business. So we all know those guys who will wear dishtashas or thobes or kanduras or tanduras or something like that. Okay. So what happens is during Ramadan was our peak season. This is where we would be tailoring up to 100 to 200 dishtashas a day just to meet demand for Eid. Once that is done, all is good. The moment that Eid ends is the moment that money stops rolling in the company. Now I had 50 tailors that I needed to pay next month and for the next part of the year until the second season comes, which is winter. So that's about 6 months for me, where I'll be bleeding as a company. My costs are still there. The salaries still need to be paid. Rent is always on my back. Suppliers want their share in their sales. So now you might be asking me, how were we resilient during that time? Would anyone like to contribute, or shall I just give you the answer because there's a lot more to go?
Can I guess?
Yeah.
You probably started a different business to get money into this one, maybe?
Okay, that's an amazing answer. Okay, so basically I need you as a partner in the future with me as well. So yes, what ended up happening is we created a new market. I was studying the market during that time, doing my R&D, and I figured that during that time, companies were actually more proactive in asking for uniforms. So we shifted our market into uniforms during those dead times. I had 50 tailors skilled doing the best tailored clothing, and there was yet no company in Kuwait was reaching our tailoring standards when it comes to uniforms. So we utilized the skills of those employees and made a new market for us, which ended up happening with a new company, which is correct. So the needle factory was actually born. So if to summarize, basically, my problem was the off season. The solution was the new market, and the company was the outcome. So guys, this is very basic terms of how I'm trying to simplify it as much as possible. So now if you understand this example, if you have any questions, you can raise them, you can raise a hand, and I think Maysoon can pull them out for me and ask me as I go along. Cool?
Guys, does anyone have any questions? So I just want to highlight, can you see how he was being resilient here? Can you see that, yes, like they had a major issue. They could have just shut down. They could have fired some of the tailors. They could have done so much, right? But instead they decided to be resilient and they decided to be solution oriented. They decided to fight for it and to come up with something new, right? That's what resilience is all about.
Amazing.
I don't think,
So,
do we have any questions? I don't think so.
moving on. So, Marafi Design. Okay, a company that lost a CEO that was handling the company for 25 years. Now, I was age 26 when I handled Marafi Design, and immediately I got placed as the GM or the CEO of the company. Here comes a newbie with no background whatsoever when it comes to printing, and had a huge challenge with 66 staff looking back at his neck, asking when our salaries are going to be coming in. And that for me was the first day challenge, trying to understand the market, trying to understand the emotional devastation that the staff is going through, whilst trying to balance the income for the company to make it survive. So how were we resilient? Any guesses?
Did you do the same thing as you did last time?
Maybe. All right. So just to save
You
time,
gotta
guys.
help, guys. You gotta think outside the box a little bit. What would you do if you were in his place? And if you're not sure, then make sure that you learn from his experiences.
All right. We have two more examples. So these I'm going to help you out with the answers. And then the other two examples I'm going to be requesting for answers. So basically, I was determined, to be honest. I had to lead the ship. I had to be confident. I had to be resilient. I didn't want to take that challenge and fail. Not as a person, not as a company. I didn't want to close a company that was in debt for over $300,000. So what we did, I expanded my horizon. I studied the market very heavily, and I started to introduce new services and new products. And what that ended up happening. So basically, I focused more on sticker work. I focused more on construction. I focused more on new suppliers, and I created a demand with our customers by introducing these new services. So in order for me to cope with that, by introducing these to face these challenges, like I was saying, new services were introduced. Now, what did that happen? What ended up happening? And that was after a couple of months, about 6 months. Okay, expansion. I had to expand my machinery. I had to expand my facility. I had to expand my know-how, my knowledge, and my experience in that field. I had to expand my supplier list. And most importantly, I had to expand the company itself, the physical location of the company. So when we started off with 2,000 square meters, we ended up with about 4,500 square meters in a lifespan of about 2.5 years. And that ended up by expanding our workforce to about 30% in the first year alone. So that was the problem. We were in debt. The solution was new services, new products, and the outcome was expansion. If I were to look at that day one without being resilient, I would have given up and we would have lost a lot of opportunities. Cool? Sine, are you ready for this example?
Before we actually go on to the next example, does anyone have any questions so far? Okay, so we actually have a question from Rahul. How did you get your partners on board during the off season? I think that was for Dishdasha.
See,
correct, Rahul?
Yeah, it was for Dishdasha. Basically, it was continuously research and development. If I were to go there and be like, guys, I want to go into introduce, let's say, new products or new services, I did my studies. I did my plan. I did all the skills that I learned, and I did my research by going to companies, knocking on their doors and be like, hey, I'm a tailoring company. I don't have ready-made clothing, but I can tailor it for you within time and cost. So when I had all that information, it was easy for me to present it to my partners, who saw that, you know what, we trust you, you're operating the business on a daily basis, go ahead. I did have to inject a lot more money during a time that we had nothing. So that was a big challenge, a big risk, which paid off in the end.
Keep in mind, guys, when it comes to things like this, usually it's numbers that speak. Right, so you need to show them, and correct me, Hany, if I'm mistaken, but like if you're like he said, if you're gonna just come up with an idea, then he's gonna be, oh, okay, idea, and it's gonna be very subjective, right? It's gonna be, oh, it sounds like a nice idea, and then someone else is like, no, I don't like that idea, and that's it. But when you have numbers, when you have proof, when you have backup of what you're saying, all right, when you've done your research, then when you present it, it's not so much about opinion anymore. It's more about, you can kind of say facts. It's not 100% a fact, but because it's happened before doesn't mean it'll happen exactly the same. However, it's much more probable, right? So guys, make sure that you're always going after numbers, looking at things, doing your research and understanding the market, just as Hany said.
Amazing. Thank you for actually summarizing that. Now, moving on to Cine. Cine is a lighting company. It was focusing mostly on film companies or movies and series, TV series, locally in Kuwait. So my partners, I gave them a solution immediately, and they were like, we need you as a partner with us. They bought all the equipment that was for cinemas. However, what I was going to introduce to them is nothing related to or experienced in. I introduced for them weddings. I introduced for them events. I introduced for them corporates and business-to-business opportunities, not just basically the cinematic kind of view. So what ended up happening there was actually I introduced new tools for them. They were in debt. You're talking about $200,000. Within 4 months, we went outside the debt. We changed our income, our revenue stream. Instead of generating, let's say, $10,000 a month, which was not sufficient to cover our monthly cost, we ended up generating about $30,000 to $40,000 a month just from events. Because I used those experiences that I had from Marafi Design, because I introduced it to a new market. We used to do events as well. So I interlinked both companies together, and which achieved higher sales and a lot more tools as well, guys. Cool. So that was your problem. The new tools were your solutions, and the outcome was much higher sales and more tools. And finally, guys, ORP, and where I am today. And this is the latest example I can give you as being resilient.
Before we move on,
yeah,
Hany, to ORP, we have a question. That's okay. Okay,
yeah.
It says, do you think the reason? Oh, okay. So it says, it's by Aman. Do you think the reason for coming up with all these creative solutions is just doing a lot of research?
Yeah, it's a very tough question. It's really following your intuition. It's really having that stubborn thought is, I'm not going to fail. I'm not going to fail. I'm going to continue. So you end up doing much more and thinking outside the box. If you accept failure, you're not going to be able to come up with solutions. You're just going to give up and move on, and possibly regret. Basically, you're going to live in regret for a while. So I don't like the feeling of regret, and I threw that feeling a very long time ago. So I've accepted whatever outcome and whatever, let's say, positive or negative, I've learned to accept that, yes, there is always a solution. Today I might not have it, but I'm sure I'll have it sometime in the future as well. I hope that answered your question.
Can I add on to that, Hany, actually? What time is it? So definitely, is it just about research? Of course not. Remember when I was talking earlier, when I was talking in the opening plenary, and I was saying my team the best thing about them was not their knowledge or their experience in ISEC. The best thing was their attitude. It was because they had resilience. They were a resilient bunch. And this is the thing. It's not just about research. You'll have people right from the get-go, and I'm sure all of you who are team leaders or who have worked in groups before, you've had people come up to you and say, hey, I have an issue. And what we need to start doing is saying, okay, you have an issue. What do you think the solutions are? What are the options? When you find people who are coming up with solutions, when they're coming up with options before just coming to you with a complaint, then you're starting to build this resilience, right? So it's not just about research. It's about, first of all, wanting to save things, having the desire to say, okay, things went wrong. I'm not going to stop there. That's number one. Number two is being creative, studying your markets, because even research comes out in very different ways. Research is not just going online and saying like, oh, what have other places done? What have other countries done? No, it's understanding your markets. It's knowing your customers, right? How flexible are you? How creative are you? Do you have the right attitude for it? Do you have the flexibility towards it, the right mindset, the right energy? So no, it's not just the research, right? But research will definitely help you in taking the right decisions.
Amazing. Thank you, Maysoon, for that wonderful transitioning. Okay, so ORP, guys, this is where I am today, and this is the challenge. So I've actually been with them 1 year this month. So I joined ORP as, wait, let me try and, because I like to say marketing manager basically, but the official title is Senior Marketing Executive and Assistant Marketing Manager Acting. In simple terms, marketing manager, handling all the activities of the company and showing off products, services, and our history. My job was actually to create for them events. So I had a plan last year for 27 different events throughout the year, which is about 2 events a month, where I was going to showcase the company and do something brand new every month for our customers. And let's just say, guys, our Instagram account is super active. We have about 48,000 followers, and a good half of them watch us when we go live or when we mention something or when we go on story. What happened in Kuwait in March? Total lockdown was announced. So April, you're gonna be stuck at home for about 22 days. And that for me was devastating because I was getting paid to entertain people offline, not just online. So that got me worried. How was I resilient when this problem was introduced to me? Any guesses?
Ooh, if someone says online marketing, social media.
Amazing. So yes.
Taking everything virtual.
Yes, exactly, guys. You are on point. So taking everything digitally was a challenge for a company that was growing fast but didn't have the digital experience. Now, how was I resilient and what did I introduce? Well, 2 main factors, and I can be honest about this. So number 1 was I made a website. I made a website for the company with no experience, and it's an e-commerce website. What that website did was generated our salaries during that lockdown. We achieved amazing numbers by the end of the year, and we broke 10 or 11 years worth of sales records because of this website. We introduced new marketing techniques, new marketing channels, and I personally introduced new tools. And these tools, I would like to thank Maysoon first, second, ISEC, because we gained these tools from ISEC. I learned how to use Google Drive. I learned how to use Google Sheets, Google Slides, and so on. That for me, I had a contingency plan, which basically means a plan B. During lockdown, when it was announced, I was the most confident department in the company. I wasn't in shock. I wasn't running away from the problem. I was excited. I was like, yo, listen, CEO, I am ready. He was like, what do you mean? I had my schedules done. I had my virtual meetings scheduled 3 months ahead of time. I had all my files shared with my team and I had a backup so I could basically connect to my office, through my phone, through my iPad, the laptop, or wherever I had an internet connection, basically. So with that, new tools were introduced, new channels were introduced, new stream revenues were being generated, and this ended up with, right now, guys, we are looking to hire not less than another 10 to 15 people during a time where companies are suffocating, during a times that I know friends who haven't been paid for the last 3 months, during a time where companies are actually closing down. So this is how resilience and how stubborn when you want to become and not failing and finding the right solution can happen with the right results, basically. Any questions? No?
I have a question. So
Okay.
since the whole COVID situation happened and you had to take everything pretty much virtual, so other than Isaac, right, where did you really learn all those skills, or how did you really push yourself to, try something new, put yourself in a different situation where you had to learn all these skills and also teach your team how to learn these skills?
Very easy, guys. Very easy answer from me. Okay. People will tell you, take these lessons, read on Google. By the way, guys, just to give you a heads up, I hate reading. I don't have the energy. I don't have the focus. I don't know how to go online and read an article, yet alone read a book. So actually, one of the things that's on my bucket list was to read a book. And I achieved that during the lockdown. So, so reading does help you if you're looking for more theoretical and like the aha moments of when you do something and you want to name it the technical way. What I ended up doing throughout my life is choosing the right network, choosing the right friends, choosing the right family members to hang out with, choosing the right type of inspirations to read about and focus on, looking at the positive aspects of all the solutions that were that people came up with during those difficult times. And once you start researching and believing in yourself and developing your inner self, you'll be able to trust that you're going to be making a decision and try to minimize the loss of that risk when you're going to make that change that you're going to basically do overnight. So it's a mindset. The first thing you need to do is a mindset change. The second most important, like I said, is choosing your right friends. Surround yourself with people who are ambitious. Surround yourself with people who are leaders. Surround yourself with people who are not afraid to share ideas or not afraid to give you solutions or to support you at any cost. I always say that I'm not a friend, basically in Kuwaiti, that means I'm not that friend that's just there for fun. I'm a friend there that's for fun, number one. Number two, to support you when things get real. Number three, to always rely on whenever you feel like you have nobody there to support you or to build you or to push you or to motivate you. It's like I'm that annoying person who's like, hey, I'm gonna lose weight. I'll be on your back saying, yo, have you gone to the gym today? No, you haven't. Please don't talk to me for 2 days until you go there. Or I would probably flatten his wheel because I love that person. Or I would probably not invite him to lunch or dinner because I know he's trying to watch his weight. I hope that answers your question.
We do
It
have
does.
one more question. I think we have time to take one more question from Raul again. So that's amazing, really inspirational to hear your journey. Was just wondering, how were you able to raise capital for your ventures, especially during difficult times?
Self-funding was my first one, guys. So Dishtasha Express, I actually went and begged my mother for about $3,000. So I was like, can I please have $3,000? I want to open my business. And she's like, what kind of business are you trying to open? I was like, a tailor shop. Now, the thing that helped me out was because her dad had a tailor shop, and I never knew this, by the way, and he had 7 fabric shops as well. So she was like, oh, you're becoming just like your granddad. So I kind of was lucky with that one. So she immediately gave me that money, which was enough to renovate the location we were taking until my partners were able to raise the same amount of funds. So just because the company is closed now, I can disclose like all this information. We established the company for 7,500 KD, which is about $30,000, just less than $30,000. when we closed the last book, our last income, we generated over $3 million. I don't have 3 million in my pocket, guys. No. We generated in sales $3 million, just over $3 million, which was all reinvested in the company. So the biggest challenge is finding the right income channel. During that time, by the way, guys, we do have like funds that are given by the government and grants that support SMEs, small, medium enterprises. So that was also the second stage in renovating or expanding the company itself.
So we have a question here, Blacks. That's an amazing question, but like that's very relevant for maybe our reality with our government and things like that. So we actually have a question. It says self-funding and family sources are not as common though. So what would you suggest to someone who doesn't have the same industry or funds in the family?
Work, guys. I worked as a paper boy because I had a challenge. I worked and I saved my money, and I used to make £5 a week. That's 2.5 KD a week, which is just about $10 a week. Keep in mind, guys, both my parents are doctors. Both of them are very financially stable. Alhamdulillah, I was lucky. However, I challenged myself because I had a goal and I didn't want to rely on my parents' income so that I can build myself. Now, if you're going to look at the obstacles, you need to start thinking, okay, what kind of skill sets do I have? What kind of equipment do I have that's going to help me? So if you have a laptop, then you can immediately start making money. If you have a phone, you can immediately start making money. You can start consultings. You can start designing if you're a designer. You can start working as an intern to get that experience, which helps you learn much faster and then utilize those skills and those tools that you have laying around to actually generate a second income. So for instance, guys, just last week or a month ago, I bought my first ever camera. And I've already done 3 videos, and one of them has earned me $200 because I have a friend of mine. Cool. So I'm looking at the time and I do have to kind of run through it, guys. So I'm going to be moving on. I'll be more than happy to answer your questions if we have them in the end.
Can I just add something to that? Because we have 9 minutes left, Hany. So just as a heads up for you to move forward, keep in mind, Mohammed, that's a whole different topic, but you have so many options when it comes to funding. If it's not self-funding or family, other than governments, depending on the government you come from, you have investors. Every country has investors. If your idea is worth investing in, you'll find someone that will invest. You have angel investors, you have individuals, you have companies and sponsors, you can do partners, financial partners, strategic alliances. There's so much you can do if your idea is worth it.
Amazing. So, guys, why didn't we give up throughout the whole experiences that I went through in the companies when everything was becoming a struggle and when the solutions were not clear for us? And if you haven't caught up with the word yet, is because of resilience, okay? Where quitting wasn't an option. It never will be an option for me, guys. Even if all odds were against me, I will fight to find the right solution. Just like an icicle all around the world, guys. Things just got hit hard. And let's be honest, their main product of sending EPs outside of their entity and for a period of 6 weeks minimum, that was a devastating kind of hit for them. But guess what, guys? They also saw an opportunity to grow. They didn't quit. They didn't give up. What do you think they did? And just to save time, guys, they built a strategy. And that is one of the most important aspects. They built a strategy that was named ISEC 2025, a 5-year plan for the direction of the entities to reach in success, to be as proactive as possible and to go against all circumstances and odds in the future. They are determined to ride that big wave and make sure that they're going to pass that storm, and they're going to do it as an entity, not as an individual, but as somebody or a living organism that's determined to survive through this COVID situation that we're all going through. So they had the problem, which was surviving. The solution was build build a strategy, and guess what the outcome is going to be, guys? It's going to be you. So you can understand that whatever happens today is because of you guys. Do you think this was the first time that the world goes through something like this? Do you think that Isaac, throughout the history of Isaac, was this the first challenge that they went through? I'll answer that by looking back at history. Okay, so we've had different flus and diseases throughout the whole 73 years or 74 years of Isaac right now. And we were filled, just in my lifetime, guys, I've seen the swine flu, I've seen bird flus, I've seen Ebola, I've seen mad cow diseases, okay? When it comes to natural disasters, you have things like hurricanes, storms, floods. You have political instabilities, where human rights, where we had the Arab Spring as well, where things were bad in Tunis, Egypt, Libya, Syria, and so on, and even Bahrain. Wars were also there during my lifetime, where continuous bombs and threats happening from terrorism. And guess what, guys? Isaac is still here. And so are you. So, do you want to be a part of leaders that leave a legacy? And ask yourself this: do I want to become a leader today? Do I want to show the world what I'm capable of doing? Do I want to be a quitter, or do I want to show that I've made history, that I've established myself through an entity that's so diverse, so strong, in a room full of leaders from all around the world who are not afraid of change, and who are willing to show you the path of humankind's full potential. And I say this, guys, with full emotions. You are lucky to be in this room today, full of leaders who are not selfish, who are not afraid of change, who are going to show you the path. You're in a room full of leaders with different nationalities, different genders, different ages, and different religions. So ask yourself, are you ready to take Isaac forward? Are you ready to see a brighter future? Are you ready to be making history? Are you ready to join a network full of leaders, full of ambitions, full of dreams, full of people who are not afraid, who all share the same values and the same vision? Leaders who believe in peace and fulfillment in humankind's full potential, not half, not quarter, the full potential, guys. So, hey, Isaac, how are you feeling? You can unmute yourself for this one, guys.
Feeling
Yes, I'll ask you one more time. Unmute your mics, guys, and I'll count on 3. 3, 2, 1. How are you feeling?
Excellent.
Amazing, amazing, guys. So, are you ready to do this? Are you ready to face the challenges? Yes,
yes.
I believe in you guys the same way that I believed in Kuwait as well, and all the challenges that we've been through. And I can see a brighter future for Isaac, guys. And I wish you the best of luck. And I'll be tracking you guys to see your successful stories. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, or if you have any comments you'd like to say, if we have the time, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
You have the time, honey, don't worry. I don't know, whenever I have to talk, I got to cover her ears.
Amazing, amazing. So thank you so much, guys.
Thank
Maysoon,
you.
the mic is all yours.
Thank you, Hany. Guys, I really hope, first of all, thank you, Hany, for taking the time and dedicating the time, the efforts into putting in these slides, into being here for Isaac in the UAE. No one else is in the room, not Isaac in Kuwait, not anyone else. This is specifically delivered for Isaac in the UAE, because at the end of the day, we're one network, right? Just as Hany mentioned, even Isaac in Kuwait, it restarted again in January 2020, just before COVID hit. And this was us wanting to like bring things back up and bring it strong. And then COVID hit. But here we are, and we're growing. right? And we're making it, and a big part of that, guys, is thanks to Hany. He was there at the beginning. He was one of the people, if not one of the main people actually, who helped make this happen, who believed in it, right? And who helped push it forward. So guys, most definitely make sure that you don't give up. The only time you've really failed is once you've given up or once you stop trying, or if you haven't tried at all. All right. I don't know, Hany, if they want to reach out to you. I hope you guys find that it was a good idea to bring him in today. I didn't want it to be purely ISEC talk, right? I wanted you guys to understand what it's like to relate to outside of ISEC world, and to see that, yes, the same way that other companies and the world outside is creating strategies, ISEC has created ISEC 2025 this time specifically to like come back up again and to revive again and to fix their mistakes and to see this as an opportunity for growth and not as a obstacle to stop us. So just to let you guys know, I'm sure you might have a lot of questions and things like that. So tomorrow morning in the opening plenary, we'll have space for you guys to, just like sleep on it, think about things, reflect, have discussions, and please come tomorrow with questions and things like that if you have for any of us. Definitely we'll be happy to answer your questions. I think we can give the floor back to the MC or to the CC of NatCo 2021.
Hany, thanks for the amazing presentation, dude. Woo! It was amazing. Maysoon, thank you so much for getting him on board. I swear on God, dude.
Thank you so much, guys. You've been amazing, to be honest, and it's always a pleasure to help.
Thank you so much for coming on board. I swear on God, dude. Like, woo! Man.
Yes. So,
Hany, they're asking, is there any way they can reach out to you?
Yes, I don't know how you'd like me to, what kind of details you'd like me to share with you guys. So I'm going to open up the chat.
It's the other way around. Would you prefer like whatever channel you're comfortable with? So if you want them to reach out to you on Instagram, type your Instagram. If you want them to WhatsApp you, type in your WhatsApp number. So whatever it is that you're comfortable with.
gmail.com. So I'm
guys,
going to
any
give the
questions
list.
on you, say it.
All right. Oh, wait. Yeah, I do have an Isaac email. Why am I putting my, okay. All right.
By the way, I hope you guys had an awesome day. And I really, really hope that day one for you was amazing. If you guys are new to ISEC, I hope this is just the beginning and that you guys are excited. And I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow morning.
More morning with more energy. More damage.
Oh, yeah.
In the house.
Thank you so
All
much.
right.
Thank you so much.
So I put my details for you guys. You can contact me by email, through WhatsApp, or through Instagram. So please feel free. And if you forget at any reason, I can assume that other members, you'll be able to find me. If you really wanted to, you'll be able to find me.
You can follow, okay, what you guys can do is you can also follow the ISEC in Kuwait account, which is ISEC in Kuwait, or the mc.kuwait account, and just message us and we'll be able to answer, like to give you the contact details of whoever you guys need.
Soon, I'm so happy that you really came on board. Like, dude, you killed it! Woo!
Woo! Go hard or go home, guys. Go hard or go home. Do you need us for anything? Are we good to go?
Yeah, I think we're good to go.
Guys, if any question, before they go, please, if any question, just unmute yourself, ask them. Don't let them go, guys. Come on.
It takes time to process. It's okay. It takes time to process sometimes. Let them sleep
I
on
guess
it.
we all will have our questions tomorrow.
Yes, I hope so.
Yes.
I hope so.
Yes, yes.
All right, guys.
And in any case, if you miss their contact detail, Maysoon or Hany, if you want their contact, let me know. I'll just share it immediately. Like, go talk, please. No problem.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Bye, guys. Have a good day.
You too,
You
you
too.
too. Stay safe.
And Hany, once again, thank you so much, dude.
Thank
Your presentation
you
was
so
killer,
much.
like a mic drop presentation. That's what I can expect. That's what I can. One word.
I don't got a mic, but I got a pen. So here we go.
There we
Son,
go.
We got this.
Thank you guys so much for joining in on the first